Hello, my name is Donna. I'm a 38-year-old woman who has recently freed myself from an oppressive marriage. Let me tell you, separating from my husband felt like stepping into a new realm of freedom. My ex-husband, Michael, and I initially met through a blind date set up by a mutual friend. From the start, I was captivated by his striking looks and magnetic charm. Michael seemed to possess all the qualities I desired in a partner. We shared numerous interests, and our conversations flowed effortlessly. For the first 7 months, we enjoyed casual dating, taking turns organizing fun and engaging activities. Once we officially became a couple, we continued our dynamic outings, and after a year, we moved in together. During that time, I learned about Michael's financial struggles. Despite my attempts to offer guidance to help him advance in his career, he rarely took my advice seriously. Still, he managed to earn enough to meet his needs, and I was willing to support both of us financially. 3 years into our relationship, we tied the knot, and a year later, we decided to buy a house. I secured the mortgage solely in my name due to my superior credit score, a choice I now regard as particularly fortunate. However, 4 years into our marriage, I began to notice a troubling shift in Michael's behavior. He grew increasingly demanding and stopped contributing to household chores, claiming he was too busy with work. Despite my understanding and efforts to manage everything on my own, the burden became overwhelming. When I confronted Michael about this, he would momentarily promise to change, but we quickly fell back into our old patterns. This was frustrating, yet I tolerated it out of love and a desire to fully support him. Unfortunately, our relationship began to suffer, especially in terms of fun and leisure, as I simply didn't have the time or energy for either. It was under these strange circumstances that I discovered Michael's infidelity. I stumbled upon the truth quite unexpectedly when he left his phone unlocked while he took a shower. I had no intention of snooping. I just wanted to charge his phone. But a notification caught my eye, a message from a woman named Isabella, asking Michael how long it would be until he left his pathetic wife to meet her at a nearby motel. The shock and heartbreak hit me like a tidal wave. I couldn't believe Michael was capable of such betrayal. Our marriage had seemed solid. He always greeted me warmly, and we rarely argued. The pain was overwhelming, a gut-wrenching mix of sorrow and nausea as my world crumbled. Yet, at that moment, I knew I had to confront this head-on. I left Michael's phone exactly as I found it, with the message still open, ensuring he would know I had seen it when he returned. When Michael emerged from the shower and saw his phone, the realization hit him. He tried to avoid the conversation, but I was determined to address it. "I know about the affair. We need to talk," I stated firmly. "I don't think we should," he replied, clearly flustered. "Who is she? I assume you saw enough to know her name. When did it start?" "A year ago. Can we not do this right now? Why did you start seeing her? Please, let's not do this." "Don't call me babe. Tell me." "I don't know. I guess I just miss the thrill of someone new, someone who's on the same wavelength as me." "So, I'm not on the same wavelength as you?" "Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. It's just that you've become a bit dull." "Excuse me. I mean, you never want to go out. You're always tired, and our social life, even our life in the bedroom, has faded. Do you realize I'm always tired because handle all the chores and work full-time, yet you've never once offered to help? That's just your role as my wife," he snapped. "I told you to stay at home, but you refuse. Still, that doesn't excuse you from contributing around the house." This confrontation marked a turning point for me, revealing just how differently we view marriage and our responsibilities. His words shattered the foundation of trust and mutual respect I thought we had built. "I'm the head of the house," he declared. "I can do whatever I want. If that means having an affair for some fun, then so be it." Michael's assertion cut through the air, showcasing his distorted view of freedom within our marriage. I had hoped for a conversation that might help us mend our relationship, but it was clear he had no intention of engaging. "I don't think anything will change. You're just too dull. I'm happy to stay married, but I'll continue seeing Isabella. I need some space from you," he declared, his tone devoid of any remorse. As he retreated to another room, the weight of his words pressed down on me. He was unapologetic and dismissive, reducing me to a mere role within our home. Michael, who had once seemed progressive, had succumbed to outdated gender roles. Influenced by podcasts that preached that women were too outspoken and needed to be kept in line, It was devastating to see him transform into someone who not only embraced these ideas but also refused to acknowledge the harm they inflicted. Moments later, I heard the front door close behind him. He had left to meet Isabella. Overwhelmed by a sense of abandonment and betrayal, I broke down, unable to bear the solitude or the storm of emotions swirling inside me. I called my best friend, Judy, and she answered immediately. Sensing the distress in my voice, she rushed over with comforting hugs and tubs of ice cream. Judy didn't press for details. Instead, she simply held me as I cried. When I finally calmed down enough, I opened up about the painful truth. Michael is cheating on me, Judy. It's true. Are you sure? She asked, a frown of concern etching her face. Absolutely. His phone was unlocked, and I saw a message from a woman asking when he was leaving his pathetic wife to meet her. What the hell? Did you confront him about it? Yes, but he barely wanted to talk, I replied, the weight of the situation crashing down around me. Judy stayed with me through the night, offering the silent, steadfast support I desperately needed to face the reality of my crumbling marriage. As we sat together, the enormity of my situation settled in, but even amidst the uncertainty, I knew I wasn't alone. I finally confronted him and uncovered the painful truth. He had been cheating on me for a year. He claimed I had become too boring, always too tired, and never up for anything fun. Despite managing nearly everything at home, he dismissed my efforts, insisting that it was simply my role as his wife. Well then, I remarked to Judy, still reeling from the shock, his role as a husband should have been more honorable. But here he is, cheating on his wife. Judy shook her head in disbelief. That's just a pathetic excuse. Did he even apologize? Not for a moment, I replied. He just blamed me and chose to spend the night with her. Honestly, Judy, if I had to face him now, I don't know what I'd do. So, what are you thinking about doing next? She asked. I'm not sure. Michael said he doesn't mind staying married, but I can't continue like this. Why don't you stay with me until you figure things out? I'll help you through everything, Judy offered. That would be amazing. Thank you so much, Judy. I really appreciate your support. We spent the rest of the evening trying to unwind by watching our favorite movies. It was a much-needed distraction, but the reality of my situation lingered in the back of my mind. The next morning, Judy helped me pack a few things to take to her place. Once I settled in at her home, my curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to look up Isabella. I still had access to Michael's social media on my phone, a privilege I had never abused before because I had trusted him completely. To my dismay, I discovered that he had muted notifications for messages from Isabella, which explained why the affair had remained hidden for so long. It turned out that Isabella was a coworker of his, someone who reported directly to him. She was 38 years younger than me and 11 years younger than Michael. The realization alone was enough to turn my stomach. This discovery only solidified my decision to move forward with my life. I knew I had to divorce Michael. I couldn't bear the betrayal, nor could I live with someone who viewed me as merely an obligation. With Judy's unwavering support, I began taking steps to reclaim my life and dignity. Before filing for divorce, I needed to sort a few things out. Judy and I spent time strategizing not only the logistics of the separation but also how to ensure that Michael wouldn't get off too lightly for his betrayal. My first step was to safeguard my finances by transferring all the money I had contributed to our joint account into my personal account, one to which Michael had no access. In the days that followed, as I set the wheels in motion to file for divorce, I heard nothing from Michael. I was stunned to realize he hadn't even bothered to check in on me. His indifference underscored how little he valued our relationship. When I eventually returned home to collect more of my belongings, I found Michael lounging on the couch. His predictable yet irritating reaction greeted me. "Where have you been? Why haven't you told me where you were?" he demanded, his voice laced with a feigned concern that failed to mask his true detachment. "Why do I need to explain myself to you? You hadn't called once. Don't pretend to care now," I retorted, my patience wearing thin. "I'm sorry, but finding out about your infidelity because you think I'm too boring doesn't exactly inspire politeness," I added sarcastically. Michael seemed taken aback but quickly shifted the conversation to finances. "I noticed you withdrew a large sum from our joint account," he said, attempting to sound casual but clearly concerned. "Yes, I took back my money. Why should I let you squander what I've worked hard to earn?" Challenged him. "What do you think you're doing? You need to put that money back, he demanded, his tone shifting to a threatening edge. Or what, Michael? You'll kick me out? Move in with Isabella and have your sister move in here. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. Put the money back in 3 hours, or I'll make sure everything changes by tomorrow, he threatened. I responded with silence, walking past him to our room. I quickly packed the rest of my clothes and essentials, leaving Michael to stew in his frustration. Once back at Judy's place, I recounted the entire encounter. Furious on my behalf, Judy insisted we consult a lawyer immediately. Fortunately, she knew someone who could help. We met with her lawyer friend, who began by asking about the house. I explained that both the mortgage and the title were solely in my name, a result of my well-paying job in a specialized field. This detail was crucial. It meant I had significant leverage in the upcoming legal proceedings. With Judy's support and the lawyer's guidance, I felt better equipped to face the challenges ahead. Earning significantly more than Michael, it made sense for me to handle the mortgage and purchase our home, establishing it entirely in my name. This financial arrangement was straightforward and practical, considering our respective incomes. Everything the house needed was purchased by me. When I consulted with my lawyer about the impending divorce, he reassured me that the house would legally remain mine, lifting a weight off my shoulders. He also explained that if Michael's sister, Karen, moved in without my consent, I could easily issue an eviction notice. The next morning, despite the tension, Michael informed me that Karen had moved in because I hadn't reversed the money transfer. I kept the conversation brief, which only fueled his anger, and he ended the call abruptly. Following my lawyer's advice, I started recording all conversations with Michael to maintain a reliable record for potential court use. My strategy moving forward was clear, with two possible outcomes. I would serve Karen the eviction notice. If she complied, that would be the end of it. If not, I was prepared to take legal action, given our strained history. I had a feeling this wouldn't be straightforward. Karen had always harbored a peculiar animosity toward me, frequently trying to undermine or outshine me in petty ways. She even attempted to disrupt our wedding and consistently competed with me over trivial matters. Over the years, our relationship had deteriorated to the point where I had to limit contact with her. Michael, overly protective and indulgent toward his sister, often put me in uncomfortable situations. Karen's resentment only grew when she realized she couldn't surpass me in certain aspects of life, leading her to engage in petty theft whenever she visited our home. I frequently noticed missing items, designer clothes, shoes, and skincare products. Michael urged me to overlook these incidents, rationalizing that Karen's frugal lifestyle justified her taking some of our luxuries. I strongly disagreed and eventually banned her from visiting altogether. This decision didn't sit well with either Michael or Karen, but he was powerless to challenge it, given my legal rights over the property. The situation was complicated, but I was determined to stand my ground and take the necessary actions to protect my interests and ensure a fair resolution to our marital breakdown. Having had enough of Karen's antics and the significant thefts she had committed, I explained the extent of her actions to Michael. He understood that the damage went far beyond what could be easily rectified. However, that didn't stop Karen from trying to provoke me further. One day she called to flaunt her temporary triumph. "Hello, Donna. Guess where I am right now?" she taunted. "Michael told me you've moved in," I replied, keeping my tone even. "That's right. I have this huge, glorious house all to myself, something you don't," she gloated. "I still own the house. I've already sent you an eviction notice and you have 4 days to move out," I informed her calmly. "An eviction notice from you? Like, I'll take that seriously. This is my brother's house and he told me I could stay here, so I will," she retorted defiantly. "It's not his house, Karen. Regardless of what Michael told you, the legal documents clearly show that the property is mine." Yeah, marital property or whatever. But he has all the power here. He decided this was the best thing to do, she insisted, misunderstanding the situation entirely. "You really can't stop talking, can you? I see why my brother chose another woman," Karen snapped, hoping to hurt me further. "Well, I have nothing more to say. Goodbye," I said, ending the call just as I heard her spiteful laughter. If she didn't vacate within the 4 days, she would soon find out just how serious I was. I was fully prepared to take Karen to court. I had all the legal backing I needed. Unsurprisingly, she informed Michael about our conversation, and within an hour, he called, furious, questioning my ability to send her an eviction notice. As before, I chose not to engage with his anger. In the next 4 days, two significant events unfolded. I had the divorce papers delivered to Michael, who shockingly decided to contest them, and Karen still had not moved out. Following through on my threat, I had a court summons sent to her. Legally, she was considered a squatter. When Karen received the summons, she was visibly shocked to learn that the house was in my name, not her precious brother's. She confronted me, accusing me of trickery. "You set me up," she cried. "I did no such thing," I replied firmly. "I gave you ample warning and time to leave. I even told you to move out." The reality of her situation was finally starting to dawn on her, and I was ready to uphold my rights no matter what. Since Karen refused to heed my warnings, she had to face the consequences in court. My lawyer presented a solid case, including the eviction notice and recordings of phone calls where I repeatedly asked Karen to vacate the premises, all of which she blatantly refused. In my state, squatting is considered a serious offense, resulting in Karen being charged with a Class A misdemeanor. The look of utter defeat and humiliation on her face was deeply satisfying after enduring years of her antagonism. After the court proceedings, Michael and Karen, still unable to accept their defeat, confronted me at Judy's place, where I had been staying. "How could you do that to my little sister?" Michael demanded. "Your little sister has made my life miserable for years, and I finally put a stop to it in the only way I knew how. You initially agreed with my decision, yet the moment I stood up for myself, you sided with her," I responded, my frustration evident. "I only did that because she had nowhere else to go after the eviction. I was doing her a favor," Michael argued. "So, the house suddenly became an option because we're separating. If we weren't, would you have snuck her in?" I countered. Michael stumbled over his words, but I cut him off. "Save it, Michael. I don't want to hear any more. I'll just see you in court." "How is the house even in your name? Your brother's name isn't on any of the documents," he exclaimed. "I've been the one paying off the mortgage and making all the repairs meticulously for the past 4 years. No matter how much your brother contests it in court, he won't get any ownership of the house. All he'll get is a much lighter wallet," I retorted. Karen interjected, clearly not grasping the legal reality. "You think I set him up?" "I did nothing of the sort. Your brother believes in being the man of the house, yet he avoids any real responsibilities, preferring that I do all the hard work while he reaps the benefits. Thank God that won't be my problem anymore," I shot back, my patience exhausted. With that, I slammed the door in their faces, ending the conversation. In the weeks that followed, Michael, realizing he wouldn't win the house, decided to contest every single possession we shared, down to the most trivial items like our dessert spoons. The battle was petty and exhausting, but I was prepared to fight for my peace and freedom, no matter how long it took. I was completely unfazed by Michael's attempts to claim our shared possessions. For every piece of furniture and item he claimed as his, I had the receipts clearly showing who had paid for them. In truth, he hadn't contributed much, so he was only going to get a minimal share. While Michael was preoccupied with this petty squabble, I took action on another front. I sent screenshots of his inappropriate communications with Judy to his company's HR department. Within 2 weeks, Michael was terminated from his job. Surprisingly, Isabella was not. I learned from some of Michael's colleagues, with whom I had remained friendly, that she had argued Michael coerced her into the relationship by threatening her professional standing. Understandably, the relationship did not survive this revelation. It took some time, but eventually the divorce was finalized, and I was officially free to celebrate my newfound independence and the successful resolution of a complex situation. Judy and I enjoyed a long celebration. It felt like a double victory. The last update I received on Michael and Karen was less than glamorous. They ended up living together in a modest apartment, both struggling to find jobs. Their parents were supporting them with a modest allowance, but they were far from pleased with their children's actions. My former in-laws even reached out to apologize for their behavior, a gesture that helped bring closure to the entire ordeal. Now free, I looked forward to what life had to offer next. This entire experience reinforced a valuable lesson: never forget my worth. It also showed me that I could handle myself in tough situations. I was a force to be reckoned with. Here's to moving forward, stronger and wiser. Cheers.